Good morning. Welcome to Conversations Here and Now. My name is Naresh. It's Wednesday, July the 30th. Summer is going by pretty quickly. But what are people talking about today? Everybody's talking about return to work, return to office. So 2019, 2020, actually more 2020, COVID happens and everybody gets working from home. A couple of years after that, 2022, 2023, slowly some companies get people coming back to work in some hybrid manner, whether it's, work from home 2 days, come in for 3 days, or vice versa, kind of thing. So people have been working with that hybrid model for a little while now. However, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, news are coming out that companies are now asking employees, starting possibly in September or possibly in January of 2026, to come back to the office almost full time. So what I'm looking at today is there advantages to working from home or advantages to working from work? So people already are doing it still, the hybrid model, or there is still some people working full time from home. So they have their opinions already. So I'm just going to look at this. So, there are several reasons why many people prefer working from home over commuting to an office. So these reasons often tie into quality of life, productivity, and personal well-being. Okay, so first one is no commute. You get up in the morning, if you don't have kids, you get up, you get dressed, and however you want to get dressed to look somewhat presentable, you sit down on your desk and you start working. Really, get your coffee going and that's it, right? So no commute saves time and saves money, right? You don't have to get ready and go somewhere. You don't have to run around getting your lunch ready and that kind of thing, coffee ready to put in a cup and take with you. So it eliminates the stress and cost of commuting. Gas, public transit, parking, etc. We all know that, right? At least for sure. Some places have, depending where the workplace is, they have a parking lot you can park in, but a lot of times people don't. You have to park on this in a parking lot. You have to pay for it, and of course you have to pay for your gas. And if you're taking the GO train downtown, then subway downtown, whatever it may be, bus, you have to pay for that, right? So your vehicle takes wear and tear because all the mileage adds up if you're driving straight to downtown, right? So saves time and money if you're at home, working from home. Make more time for personal activities. People can use that extra time in the morning for sleeping, families, a little bit of exercise or whatever, right? Most people nowadays, it takes at least half an hour to an hour and a half, if not more, to get to work, right? So, that time, you can get some extra sleep. You can go for a little jog, work out, whatever it may be, right? It makes your life easier for you. So, number 2, greater flexibility. Customized schedules. Workers often have more control over when they work, allowing them to manage errands, childcare, or appointments more easily from home, right? So, if you're working from home, you can look after your kids, or take them to a daycare quickly and come back and that kind of thing, right? So it makes it easier. Work-life balance, better integration of personal and professional lives, leads to lower stress levels, right? We all have enough stress levels in our lives today, so anything you can do to lower stress levels. You finish at 4, let's say you finish at 4:30, right after that you can do anything you want. Instead of an hour or 2 commute from work back to home, even 40-minute commute, and that's stressful. Being in traffic anytime nowadays is stressful. So better work-life balance. Number 3, increased productivity. At work, there's always distractions. There's always people in the kitchen talking, around the water cooler talking, in the bathroom talking, etc., right? So, and you have people talking, cubicles next to each other, people talking. So At home, you have no loud coworkers or unnecessary meetings or distractions, right? More control over your environment. So people can create their ideal work setting, lighting, put up a little music in the back if there's no meetings going on, the way you can set up your desk. Cost savings. As I've already mentioned, you save costs when you don't have to commute, gas, public transit, parking. So those costs are saved. Your vehicle wear and tear, mileage adds up. Working from home, no need for an office attire. Casual clothing or lounge wear is acceptable at home as long as you're not in a meeting. Let's say if you're a call center kind of a thing and you're working from home, then really you don't even, casual clothing is totally fine. Easier to work in, better for, mental, better for your mood. Food expenses decrease. People at home work from home, they can often make their own lunches. You go outside, you're almost guaranteed you're going to be buying something at the cafeteria, whatever it is. You'll spend 10 to 12 bucks. That's a minimum nowadays, 10 to 12 bucks. That's a cheap lunch. Could run up to 15 to 20 bucks, right? So, and people are often rushed and they don't have the time to make their lunches. So they got to buy. You got to buy your lunches, you got to buy your snacks, everything adds up, right? You can't go hungry. Improved mental health. How? By reducing stress. Avoiding traffic, office politics, and rigid schedules can lower anxiety, right? Traffic is so stressful nowadays. You leave home and you pray, and that there's no accidents or something that can cause traffic to back up, and you're delayed to work. Whereas if you're working from home, you're always going to be on time, right? So which is the best thing. You're never going to be late unless it's some personal reason, right? There's no more office politics. Gossiping because you're just doing your work. Yeah, you can still be texting, but really it can be avoided a lot, right? If you don't have to get up in the morning and run out, then basically that's a lot less stress, right? You can, as I said earlier, comfort of home. Being in a familiar space often leads to emotional well-being. So, you're always having to go out. When you have to go to work, you get to the work and you're wondering what's happening there, this, that, and who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, et cetera, et cetera. So, all that is stressful. The less stress you have in life, the better it is, right? So, one next point is, number 6, better for parents and caregivers. If you have family responsibilities such as kids, it's easier to manage family responsibilities. If you have kids, you can tend to them, depending on the age, right? You can take an hour off and quickly take them to a doctor's appointment, etc., if you need to, right? So basically, it's easier to manage a little bit. It helps you out with that. If you're at work, well, then stress levels climb because you do have to still take your kids to their doctor's appointment. It's in the evening, on the weekends, right? So that makes it a little bit easier. More involvement in daily routines, like you can help out your kids with homework. You can attend school events because in the evening, they usually start 4:30 or 5 o'clock, parent-teacher interviews, and you can go compared to when you at work, then you got to worry about rushing home, or you got to take time and then rush home. It just becomes a mess. Inclusivity and accessibility, that's point number 7. It's better, working from home is better for people with disabilities. That's a pretty obvious reason, right? It's harder for them to get up, get down to their car, get out to their car, drive, and then have to get out again. And so if you have a disability, it's definitely easier. And the next one is a big one that I always think about is environmental benefits. Less commuting equals less carbon emissions. And that's not a point just to say it. It is a point that's true. In COVID time, when everybody was working from home, all traffic died out completely. Satellites actually compared pollution before and pollution after, and there was a marked decrease in pollution. Right? We all saw that, right? So less cars equals less pollution. That's a given. These companies should be thinking about that. These companies need to be more responsible towards our environment as well. If you pull everybody into work, and guess what? Everybody's getting in their cars or whatever it may be and running to work, and most people use cars. Not as many people use transit as they should be. So what ends up happening? Roads are clogged, highways are clogged, roadways are clogged, everything is clogged, and pollution goes up, right? So the environment suffers. That's 100%. And we know today there's climate change happening. So these companies have a responsibility to think about that. They don't think about that when they say, oh, well, we're just going to have everybody return to work. And the decreased office utility use. If there's less people in the office, then you just, that company using less electricity, less water, less waste, everything is done at home, right? So for that company, if the entire downtown Toronto is using less electricity, water, and waste, it helps, right? That's environmental benefits as well. So technology today with Zoom, this, that, and all the technology today allows you to work from home. Why would a company want to take that away? Makes no sense, does it? Right? So those are the points. And well, I'm going to be fair here, and I'm going to look at the other side of it as well. Why do companies want people to come back to work? So yes, while remote work has many benefits, working from the office also has its own set of advantages, especially for those who thrive on structure, collaboration, and in-person interaction. Okay, so some people thrive on that. Okay, so not everybody does. Everybody just different things for different people, right? So number one, better collaboration and communication. So that's easier face-to-face interaction, quick chats, spontaneous brainstorming and body language, improved clarity and creativity. Now it depends on what job you're doing as well, right? If you're like a call center kind of thing, or customer service calls and this and that, accounting, maybe there's things that don't require as much face-to-face quick chats or any of those, because people calling in from the outside. Those can definitely be done from home easier. Whereas there's some jobs, yes, and of course there's some jobs that you can't work from home, like police officers, ambulance, firefighters, things like that. So employees like that they cannot work from home. So fewer misunderstandings. In-person conversations reduce the risk of miscommunication compared to emails or chat apps. I guess there's a point to that, because sometimes you want to email one person and you accidentally press reply all, and it gets to everybody. So but that's rare, right? I don't know if that's how true that is. Nowadays you can text somebody. In-person conversation, yes, it can reduce miscommunication, but you can text as well and look at your text before you send it, right? Number two, stronger team connection. Builds camaraderie. Shared lunches, hallway chats, and team rituals foster relationships. Shared lunches. I don't know how many people nowadays even have lunch at work. A lot of people work right through their entire work, so they can leave half an hour early or something like that. Or most people, when they eat at their desk. Hallway chats, that's just a waste of time. There's, as I said before, hallway chats, they're just chatting about the baseball game, hockey game, basketball game, or what have you, or that kind of thing. So team rituals, yes, I suppose. But if you're doing a hybrid thing where you're in the office at least maybe one day a week, then you can do your team ritual that day. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Improves company culture. Employees often feel more connected to their organization and colleagues when physically present. That may be depending again on the job, right? But nowadays, first thing everybody looks at is their comfort levels, stress levels. So this could be true, improves company culture for maybe the younger gals who just got hired, right? So maybe they need that feeling. Professional visibility, that's point number three. More face time with managers. Do people really like that? Talking more with your managers? This leads to better mentorship, feedback, and promotional opportunities. But I think that can be done in private meetings over Zoom as well, and very easily and very professionally. I don't see that you have to go into work to have more face time with managers. That can definitely be done over Zoom. I've seen it being done. I've done it. I know. Easier to be noticed. Presence in the office can make you work more visible and valued. I guess there's some point to that. Easier to be noticed. Everybody knows people are in, this person's in, that kind of thing. Yeah, I can see a point to that. Separation of work and home life. So some people want their home and work life to be totally separate. defined boundaries. Going into office helps people mentally separate work from personal time. I don't know how much, maybe it works for some people, but most people just sit there and worry about their kids. I got to pick up my kids after work, got to do this, got to do that, got to rush home. You don't have those worries as much when you're at home, right? So I don't know how much that works. I guess for some people, again, if you're totally single, it may work well. Family ones may not work as well. Reduces distractions. Yeah, that definitely can work. If you have very young children, then if you have limited space at home, kids are not screaming out. I guess that can happen. But you then, if you work from work, then you have to get an expensive babysitter. Babysitting is very expensive nowadays, if you can even find babysitting, right? So that's that. Access to resources, better infrastructure. That's point number 5. Offices usually have faster internet, ergonomic chairs, large monitors, printers, etc. Well, ever since COVID happened, I don't know about this either, because ever since COVID happened, companies sometimes made sure their employees had a proper internet at home by paying a little bit towards it. Or they definitely bought ergonomic chairs for their employees, gave them big monitors and that kind of thing, right? So, and nowadays most of the internet at home is really good. So I don't think that is the excuse anymore, that I got to go to work to have faster internet, right? On-site support. So if you're in the office, IT, admin, or HR support is readily available. Again, this can all be done over Zoom as well, or just an email. I don't think you need to rush into work just to have better on-site support. I don't think that's true. So that one I think definitely can be done from home. Number 6, learning and development, on-the-job learning. Again, as I've said before, junior employees can observe and absorb knowledge from experienced colleagues. Junior employees usually probably don't have kids, maybe single. I guess if they're in the office, then they can learn much more about office etiquette, the job itself, everything, probably a lot better if they're in the office than if they're working 5 days a week from home. That's possible. Yes, I can see that. Easier training and mentorship. Face-to-face coaching is often more effective. Yeah, I guess that can be seen. That's because you can easily ask questions and whatnot. So again, if you're a junior employee, somebody just got hired, somebody just going into the workforce, and you're 21, 22 years old, that kind of thing. Yeah, I can see that one too. So that one's definitely for sure. Routine and structure. Stability, having a set schedule and environment helps some people stay disciplined and focused. I don't know. You can still do it at home. I think it might even be actually better at home, less distractions. You can still have even working from home, a set schedule and a nice peaceful environment to work from. Daily movement, commuting and walking around the office increases physical activity compared to staying at home. Yeah, if you live very close to your office, right? But most people today would drive. They would jump in their car and go and get to work, park their car and go. And so really that walk part isn't, maybe you can go for a little walk at lunch, but you could do that at home as well. So I am not sure about the daily movement part. Unless, again, you live close, like in Toronto, you live in a condo and you work a kilometer or 2 kilometers away and you can walk. Networking opportunities, number 8. Builds relationships beyond your team. Chance encounters and cross-team interactions are easier in person. I can see some of that, and yeah, you might, like if there's 100 people in your office, if you're working from home, you may not get to say hello to as many people, so I can see that for sure. You get to know other people. Exposure to leadership, being physically present can open doors to mentorship and cross-department collaboration. Yeah, I can see that too. If you're physically at work, you can talk to other people that you may not get to talk to if you're on Zoom, etc. You can go see people in other departments. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. You might pick up some ideas and that kind of thing. So in short, while working from home provides comfort and flexibility, working from the office can enhance career development, social connection, and professional presence, particularly for those early in their careers or in highly collaborative roles where you have to have a lot of meetings. So it can work for that, right? So in the last a few weeks. It's coming out. Companies like TD Bank, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Nova Scotia, Bank of Montreal have sent out memos to employees announcing return to work up to 4 times a week starting in September. You're working from home one day and then 4 times a week. I don't know. You have to go in. I think it should be the other way around. Work from home 4 times a week and go in once a week. But these companies, they're always, their line is, we've seen that they always say, we've seen that in-person interaction builds energy and alignment, offers ongoing development and apprenticeship, and strengthens our culture. That's what they always say. But that's their main line. Are they really looking at employee stress levels, employee comfort? What would make an employee a more productive employee, right? Can you save some money for your employees? Can you save the environment a little bit with the climate change that's happening? No, these companies are not looking at any of that, right? That a new stat that came out yesterday, that 3 in 5 want to work from home now after having done it, right? And for those people who have done it, 76% say they would rather work from home, right? So a lot of people, because they've gotten used to it, they've perfected it, they can do it, it can be done, it's been proven. It's better for employees if they work from home. So I think, in my view, you should have a hybrid, yes. But I think 4 and 1, 4 days at the office and 1 from home, that's, at least it should be 3 days from home and 2 at the office. You go in for, 3 days from home, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Friday from home. That's the best. Your weekend is coming, right? You go in on Tuesday and Thursday. So you go in on Tuesday and Thursday and you can look after all the other stuff that I had mentioned before. Your collaboration and meetings and this and that. And that saves an employees a lot of their costs are lowered, a lot of the stress is lowered, but it appears that isn't happening at all. These companies are coming around and saying, nope, you gotta just pretty much some of these, there's a lot of companies that are saying absolutely not. And starting in January 2026, you've got to come back to work 5 days a week. No more working from home at all. So, and a lot of employees are now, because you know what, when COVID came, they thought that they were going to be working from home forever. So they bought their homes. They couldn't afford homes in Toronto, of course, or Mississauga. They bought their homes in out towards Hamilton, Burlington, Waterdown, away, because they could work from home. You can work from home from anywhere, Grimsby. Now what? Now that you're making these employees come back, they can't travel that far, so they start looking for other jobs. They don't want to come back. They want jobs where they can work from home. Most people, as I said, 76% who have done it want to work from home. They don't want to come back to office. You got to reduce this life today is stressful as it is. You got to do everything you can to reduce your stress levels. So these companies are not looking at that. But again, these are massive companies. They don't necessarily look at that. They look at their bottom line, what they think is good for them. They don't really consider what's good for the employee in overall scheme of things, right? So, which is better, really? Work from home is often better for focused, independent tasks, better work-life balance, overall well-being of your employee, especially if your home setup is good, and most of them are. They've done it by now. Office work is better when your role requires collaboration, mentoring, or hands-on presence, or if you thrive in a social or structured environment, and that's usually younger people. So many people prefer a hybrid model, which contributes the best of both worlds. In office for key meetings and collaboration, and home for quiet, focused work. So as I said, I think, in my view, 3 days from home and 2 from the office work the best, right? And you get everything then. But these companies don't look like it. It doesn't look like they want to even do that. So anyway, that's where it's at. That's my conversation for today. I hope you liked what I had to say. If you have any comments at all, please leave comments. Please like, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and please turn your notifications on. So thank you again for joining, and see you again the next time. Thank you.